Everybody, welcome to another video. It has been a couple of days. Not much news has been going around, of course, for Liverpool. You've had the verts, here we go, with further confirmation from Osman. It seems like medicals announcement, that's all coming through. Kirkes as well, that one is accelerating quite nicely. But today we're going to be talking about the striker situation, because obviously once verts is announced, once Kirkes is done, it'll be all on to the centre forward position and what Liverpool can do. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and the like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. But let us start with the first bit of news. And I found this quite shocking, to be honest, when I read it, because it's weird with Victor Osman. He's clearly a fantastic striker, but the interest in him isn't as much as you would think it would be for a player of his calibre and his quality. He's done it in the Serie A, in the Champions League. He's obviously gone to Galatasaray on loan and shown his quality. But for whatever reason, teams do not want to go towards and splash the cash. Whether it's because his agent is asking for a lot of money, I think that's probably more so the case. But even then, there's compromises. You can't tell me that a Bayern Munich or a Barcelona or Real Madrid are not willing to offer some sort of wage to Victor Osman, or there's not this sort of desire from Osman to even drop his wage. There must be other external things, maybe his attitude, maybe the way he presents himself off the pitch. He's had a couple of problems before. But for me, Victor Osman has always been a really, really good centre forward and somebody I've really rated. And as we're going to go off of this report, Liverpool are considering a move for Napoli striker Victor Osman, who scored, of course, 37 goals in 41 games for Galatasaray last season. And I was kind of looking at his stats and I just thought, this guy, he's a certified goal scorer. Even in his poorest of seasons, he's still scoring more than 17 goals. Gets a couple of assists as well. He works his socks off. He runs those channels. He just seems a Liverpool player, a Liverpool centre forward. There's just some players which really are Liverpool centre forwards, and I feel like Osman is one of them. I feel like he can be selfless in terms of giving the opportunity to other players. I feel like him and Salah would work. He's strong, he's a bully. I don't see why someone like Victor Osman couldn't go to a Liverpool. And if you're looking at these other sort of metrics here, you've got aerial duels, one of the very, very best. Liverpool, I think, do need to increase the amount of aerial duels that are won. It allows you to play a different way. Some games, like the PSG game, Liverpool would go long to Jota, who's not going to win those duels. Someone like a Victor Osman, he'll happily win those duels. He'll happily compete. So this would make a lot of sense. And you're looking at successful take-ons. He's quite a good dribbler for someone of his height. I think he's 6'3". Shot creating actions, so creating separation and having a shot on goal. Victor Osman is at a top level, and of course non-penalty goals, non-penalty XG. He's obviously going to be quite high for the amount of goals he scored, and of course the lower quality of the division he's in. But we've seen he's done it for Napoli, and he's done it across his career in France as well. He scored 18 goals for Lille before he left. So this is clearly a player who knows where the back of the net is. And if I'm going to ask you, Liverpool fans, would you take an Osman based on his football ability? Or is Osman just not the profile you guys are looking for? But when I look at him, I really do think this is a top player who can thrive at Liverpool. Then there's this one, of course, Hugo Ekitike, who's just, for me, one of the very best young strikers. I feel like he has so much quality. He has so much to learn as well, though. But the race is there between Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Ekitike, apparently I've read some other reports that he's given his word to Liverpool. He wants to go to Liverpool. And I feel like this will be the smartest moves for him. Either to go to Chelsea or to Liverpool. Just don't go to Manchester United. But I really do think in the way Liverpool play with the constant rotations in the front line, someone like Ekitike can thrive. Because I've analysed a lot of Ekitike and I feel like he moves a lot in that front three. He's not going to stay central. He's going to want to come to the channels. He wants to drift to the left or to the right. He doesn't really have that number 9 box presence. He can learn it, he can get better, obviously. But the way Ekitike is now, and Liverpool with their fluid rotations, Gakpo can come in the middle, Diaz can come in the middle, then you can move Ekitike out onto the left, Salah can come central as well. They have so many strings to the ball, and you're then thinking of Vert, Szoboszlai. There's so many players, McAllister. Ekitike can really work and really be a success story. And when you're looking at his underlying stats, it's quite impressive. You don't need to be a stat merchant to understand all those greens mean that somebody's one of the best in their position in certain things, like pass completion. He's got an eye for a pass, successful take-ons, very good, progressive passes, aerial duels as well, which was quite impressive for me. I didn't think he was sort of that high and that good in terms of aerial duels. Shots total, very, very good. He is a top young centre forward who obviously is quite raw still. He sometimes does make the wrong decision. but he's willing to connect. He's willing to learn. And these sort of things now I think is best for Liverpool. Because if you think about it, if they do keep Jota, I think Nunes is going out the door. Napoli have interest, Atletico as well. Then you can have Ekitike players that back up a bit to Jota and have the pressure off him initially. But the price, 100 million, is looking like a lot. Osman, again, the price I think is around 70 million. These are big money deals. The striker market is really inflated in terms of price. And that leads me on to my next point in terms of Darwin Núñez and Andy Robertson. They are set, not set really though. There's heavy interest from Atletico Madrid for both those players. And of course, we've known about Liverpool's long-standing interest for Julian Alvarez. And I've talked about him in many videos. But again, him is another player who just seems like a Liverpool centre-forward. The way he carries himself, the dribbles, the strength, the way in which he just wants to be involved in different aspects of the game. You know, he won't just goal hang. He'll drop deep. For his size, he's got a lot stronger since going to Spain as well. I watched the game against PSG, which they lost 4-0 in the Club World Cup. Don't ask me why I'm watching, but I just love football. And he had a really strong performance. You know, he should have had a goal, which obviously was ruled out for offside. He's a deadly, deadly finisher. He doesn't need many chances to find the back of the net. And that's what Liverpool needs. So someone like Julian Alvarez would not be a bad shout whatsoever. You're looking again at those stats. Obviously, aerial duels, tackles, interceptions ain't going to be great, so I've left it out. But you're looking there, progressive carries, top 6%. Expected assists as well. Very, very good creator. He's a second striker. He can do that role. Non-penalty XG. There's a lot of stats in there which indicate a player who's got a lot of quality. He's quite young as well, still 24, mid 25, 26, in that age range. But this is a top young player who can certainly, under someone like Arne Slot, reach new levels. And yeah, Benjamin Cesco was another one. So it's almost like Liverpool are linked with every single striker. I've sort of given you sort of lowdown on my opinions on every single one of them. If you had to tell me to rank, I do think Alvarez for me is the best. Obviously, Isak is the dream, but that's not going to happen. So go Alvarez, then Ekitike, then Osman, then Cesco. In terms of what I feel like can be a really impactful signing for Liverpool in the striker position, in terms of, okay, they come into the club, but they fit in the culture. Is there players ahead of them? Will they unsettle the dressing room? All those factors, when you consider them, I genuinely do think that that is a really good order. And I'm also saying that because I really want to see Arsenal sign Cesco and Cesco come to my club, because I think he's a phenomenal striker as well in his own right. But it'll be interesting, you know, we can trust Liverpool, Arne Slot, the whole boardroom to make the right decisions. That's the incredible thing about football. You just never know until the decision is fully made. But it does seem like Ekitike from Fabrizio Romano is somebody Liverpool are heavily involved in, more than the other names that I've put in. But Liverpool, it's looking like you're going to get another number 9. And let's hope for my sake and Astafa's sake, and anyone else who's going to try and compete against you guys, it isn't going to be an absolute hit.